This is the last video in this section talking about SQL Server and more specifically SQL Azure Database Backup and Restore option. In this video, I'm going to cover two different ways of taking Azure backups. First one, integrating SQL Server virtual machine backups into Azure, and then the second one, explaining you how to take backup copies of your SQL Azure databases. So the first one is infrastructure services, the second one is using platform services. Let me start with the first one, running SQL Server virtual machines. If they're running as virtual machines in Azure or running as virtual machines on premises, you can already make use of Azure integration for storing backup and restores. The first scenario, SQL Server running in Azure as virtual machines. You can perform a full virtual machine backup out of Azure Backup. Now, the second one is natively using your SQL Management Studio, integrated backup directly out of your SQL level, and then storing it into Azure Storage, which basically allows you, or the only requirement is that you point it to Azure Blob Storage by providing the Blob Storage name and access key. If your SQL Server is running on premises, then you make use of the full virtual machine backup, as I explained you, by using Azure Backup natively on the Windows machine itself, or by using Azure Backup Server, which was covered in the previous videos. And then again using native SQL Backup to an Azure Blob Storage. So again, it's running within a virtual machine. And from a SQL perspective, it doesn't really make a difference if the VM is running on or in Azure. Now, let me share a couple of things, how it's working if you're using SQL Azure Databases Platform as a service solution. So by default, SQL Azure provides built-in backup protection based on your SQL pricing tier. The basic tier gives you 7-day retention, standard and premium giving you 35-day retention. The backup itself is based on a point-in-time restore, and also giving you some other options is performing a restore from a deleted database, restoring to another SQL Azure server, and even restoring to another Azure geographical location. So let me quickly show you how it's done for SQL Azure database. Again, from using the Azure portal. So I'm still using my previously deployed database. And from here, I select my server. And as you can see here, I have the option long-term backup retention. This mainly integrates with Azure Recovery Services, where I have to flag my database, and then it will be integrated in my backup. Another option is selecting my database, which gives me some interesting features here in the top. I could execute a copy, then pointing to the same server, or if you want another server, configuring, and it will immediately execute the SQL database copy. Or if I already had a backup before, allowing me the restore from a database using any point in time based on my retention settings that I defined before. Again, pointing to my target server, I only have one in this scenario, confirming, and it will perform a full restore of my SQL Azure database. So that's really how easy it is on server, SQL Azure server level, or specifically on a SQL database. Which is the end of my demo in this part, where I would like to invite you to follow me to the next section, which will cover everything around implementing Azure Web App.